Guten Morgen. You're listening to Drinking Socially, the official Untappd podcast.
Your weekly look into what's happening in the Untappd community and the world of beer.
This episode is the last one that's brought to you by the Untappd Beer Fest. It's your last chance. If you're going to be in San Diego, we're coming to Petco Park in just a few days at Gallagher Square, October 1st and 2nd. And we're bringing more than 70 amazing breweries with us. VIP and general admission tickets are still available as of the time of recording. Visit festivals.untappd.com for a little bit more information, and then use the coupon code DSPodcast for $10 off VIP tickets or $5 off general admission. Again, that's coupon code DSPodcast in all caps. We'll see you in America's finest city with some of the world's finest beers on October 1st and 2nd. And also make sure you like and subscribe.
Untappd! That has been the traditional way. Oktoberfest, aka Lager Christmas, has been kicked off for centuries. literally meaning it has been tapped, but really meaning it's party time, bruder. So John and I, along with the rest of the world, we're bummed that the actual Oktoberfest is canceled once again this year, but fear not. We're going to keep the spirit of the celebration alive and well with the help of some classic Marzens and some Untappd badges. So drop a needle on your favorite David Hasselhoff record, probably his 1990 classic Crazy for You. Put some sausages in your George Foreman and try not to get your felt hats and tubas too covered in the inevitable steins spillage that comes with partying with the greatest of beers on earth. This Lager Christmas, keep the milk and cookies in the fridge. It's leader time, baby.
Thank you, Harrison. That was probably the most exciting introduction we've had to a Drinking Socially episode in quite a while.
I can hear the crowd in my mind cheering.
David Hasselhoff.
Anyway, right.
Yeah.
Collecting a royalty check somewhere.
We didn't even play the music. Just to be clear, YouTube. So the badge we're featuring on this episode is a new one for Untappd and an exciting one for hopefully everyone. It's the Oktoberfest 2021 badge. The description when you earn this badge will tell you, Untappd is. Did you know that the official Oktoberfest celebration in Munich, Germany can't begin until the mayor taps a beer keg and shouts these words? As Harrison told us, the phrase translates to "it's tapped," and it sounds kind of like this. Untappd is. Traditionally, Oktoberfest is officially kicked off, ushering in a harvest celebration. So this is also mixed with drinking Marzens and fest beers as well, because, you know, if you got to do harvest, you might as well be drinking some good beer. While many Oktoberfest celebrations around the world have been canceled this year, Untappd invites you to join in on the fall fun by safely hoisting a stein or two from one of the 6 traditional Munich breweries. Prost. Yes. And so, aside from my fast-talking, long-winded rant about how to earn this badge, the key takeaways are you just need to drink a beer from one of the original 6 Munich breweries, just like you would be drinking if you were at Oktoberfest.
Right.
Pour one out and then hold your stein up because it's easier when it's empty. The beers you'll need to drink are going to be from Augustiner, Hacker-Pschorr, Hofbrau, Löwenbräu, Paulaner, as we'll be drinking in a little bit, or Spaten, as we drank last year. Actually, we've checked off a few of those on Drinking Socially over time, Harrison.
We have. Yeah, we're doing well. We're doing great. And we're going to add another one today, John. As you said, we're actually another one, but we're going to enjoy 2 beers. And we're starting with Paulaners Oktoberfest Marzen. Get a good look at that label, people.
Yeah, true. That's a key. Well, if I don't know how cameras work, but that's a key
point, key thing. We'll talk a little bit more about in a moment, and maybe you already know what we mean, though. But let's get to this beer. So, obviously, brewed by Paulaner, one of the original 6 Munich breweries. It is a Marzen style beer, 5.8% ABV, 20 IBUs. Carries a 3.67 rating on Untappd, which is great. And from the brewery themselves, this beer is an amber beer style. It was developed over 200 years ago to celebrate the original Oktoberfest. The Marzen name comes from March beer because it was historically brewed in March to be at peak flavor for the Oktoberfest celebration. Today, it's available year-round in the U.S. due to popular demand, so not surprised there. And John already opened his up. I'm doing that now for myself, but excited to get in and grab some first sips. Have you already done it? Have you already taken a little dip?
I mean, science always rules in this house, so you got to taste before you can science, I think.
That's right. That's how science works. You got to sample things before you can actually, I don't know, make a conclusion. That's sure.
Yeah,
that's
the scientific method. Drink your beer, and then rate based on a variety of potential attributes. No one's listening to a science podcast. This is about beer.
Good. Well, tell me what you're experiencing, John, as I get mine ready to enjoy.
While Harrison gets ready to glass his Oktoberfest beer, I've already taken one sip, and what I can tell you is that one sip is not enough. I think there's a reason that these beers and this event have lasted so long and become so popular, and also why you often see people drinking them out of liter steins. It's like the beer version of a Lay's potato chip. Like that one sip, all that it does is make you want three more right afterwards. The only thing I would say that kind of caught me off guard is I know Harrison knows a little bit more about the makeup of this beer, but it tastes maybe darker than I would have expected it to taste. As a guy that usually drinks American Oktoberfest, there's like a little more, a little bit more dark, earthy, maybe even like molasses cracker instead of just toasty white cracker going on in here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is an amber lager. John had held his up. You can see it in mine though as well right now if you're on the YouTube, what's left of it. It is an amber lager, and we went into great detail about Oktoberfest and the history of it back in season 2, episode 8 of Drinking Socially. We drank 5 Oktoberfest beers and talked way too much, but essentially, you may be used to maybe a paler or a golden lager this time of year that's labeled as an Oktoberfest or a fest beer, and that's technically different than what we're having right now. This is a Marzen, which is an amber lager, and there are other subtle differences, but really, Marzens are amber lagers. Fest beers are pale or golden lagers, tend to be a little more on the bitter side. So this is what they all used to look like. Now you kind of find fest beers in Munich during Oktoberfest more often, which are in the lighter ones. But this is, the darker one is where it all began with this guy. So that's what we're enjoying today.
Definitely enjoying too. There's if there's a problem at Paulaner, it's my fault. But when I look at their beers on the shelf, you have to read the label to determine which one you're getting. Harrison, I know we were looking at Untappd earlier. There's a lot of people that are checking in the Oktoberfest Marzen as the fest beer and vice versa. And really, yes, you're drinking when you check in most of the time, but you should try and check into the right beer. But Paulaner isn't making it much easier when you look at the labels, either can or bottle. It's a slight distinction that'll show up on there.
Boom. It's really, then you got to finish the sentence and see that word beer, and you know what you're drinking. Also, you can kind of look at it and really, if you're like, well, this looks paler than I thought. Visual cues. I'm a visual learner. But if you're in the U.S., you're probably seeing their fest beer, their Oktoberfest beer in a can that looks like this or like this. Boom!
What you got there? Is that the family pack?
That's it. That'll be mine on a football Saturday in the very near future. That'll be a nice afternoon. Right there, John. The Andre the Giant size. So anyway, that's a slight generalization, but if you're in the U.S. and you have Paulaner in a can, take a quick peek. It probably says beer down there and not Marzen. So now you know what's going on.
And if you're not watching on YouTube, Harrison just held up like a small keg full of beer that he's going to drink on Saturday. Good find.
I'm excited for that day in the near future. Maybe it happens tonight. We'll see, John. We'll see what the night holds. I do know for sure, though, that we have another Marzen to enjoy, which is new to the world, but not from Germany. And I want to crack that while we have. So before I drink all the Paulaner,
you gotta hurry. Yeah.
Side by side, quick. Open the beer. So I'm gonna open mine and tell me what's happening. What's this one?
This is beautiful, and this is going to be a truly scientific thing that we're doing now with a controlled and a non-control with it. Anyways, the second beer, aside from stop talking about science, the second beer comes from Casita Brewing. We know Harrison's been a fan of some of the things they're making. Their North Carolina-based brewery with a pretty decent resume, and this beer that they've just produced at the time we're drinking this. It has 4 check-ins on Untappd.
Ooh.
So it's listed as a Marzen, 5.5%. Casita tells us they're using Munich and Vienna malts. Then it's hopped with Mittelfruit, which I think is German for little fruit. I'm making that up. But Casita's getting ready to host an Oktoberfest. So this beer is going to be featured there. Somehow it got into Harrison's hands a little bit early, and I'm excited to crack it open. So we're basically doing something we do every year on the podcast. We're comparing American-made Marzens with traditional hundreds of years tradition in Germany. There's never a winner except for the both of us as we drink through both of these beers, and Harrison covers up his facial hair with German beer foam paint. You just drank half the beer in one glug, man. This is like we're in Munich.
It's that time of year. I know when I have even these half liters in my hand, it's a little bit different, John. Drinking a little bit different. Feeling good. Yeah, this is good. You know, I'm not going to lie. I mean, so looking at it, if you're on YouTube, you can do this science with us. But, I mean, it's definitely like amber-y. But when you hold it up next to the Paulaner is clearly more amber. This is so scientific. Bill and I is probably so excited and proud of me.
We should have it on the show. No, clear difference here in my poorly lit room.
Nah, you can tell, though. And I mean, drinking it, and, you know, the Casita guys can tell me I'm wrong, but there's definitely more of a hop profile, more hop presence, which leans more towards the fest beer side of things. And it is, I would call that gold, really, objectively. So this is more of kind of like a fest beer, what I would expect out of something that was labeled as a fest beer, which is cool. Again, in the craft beer world in the U.S., Marzen and fest beer are often interchanged, and they change every year. For some breweries, like Sierra Nevada is a great example. Sometimes their Oktoberfest is a fest beer. Sometimes it's more of a Marzen. It's really up to them. But this is delicious, and I could drink it again all day, but a totally different experience. And this kind of, the Paulaner kind of toffee dancing around with biscuits. And this one is like the snappy club cracker that just, you know, is trying to challenge you to a knife fight. I guess that's what it's working.
A slightly angry soup cracker.
Right. That's what it is. If I may.
I tried to approach this like we talked about in a recent episode, where you can kind of judge your beer based on the appearance, the aroma, the flavor, the mouthfeel, the overall, like assign yourself some attributes. These are different on the nose, different in color, different in flavor. But yet you could be in the grocery store and kind of look at them like they're both the same thing. As I'm tasting through them, entirely like blind taste tests, I would be able to tell you which is which with complete confidence.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And still two of the best beers ever, like the best styles, my favorite styles, right next to each other. This is a good night for us, John. As you said, we're the winners. And I'm just going to sit here and you're going to just watch me look back and forth between two steins all night and try to decide which one I'm going to take a sip of next. So this is it. This is the greatest moment of my life. No, this is wonderful.
Harrison says that as a man that's already been married and had 2 children, but never underestimate the power of an Oktoberfest podcast. Right. It's Lager Christmas.
Lager Christmas, no rules. We should make some commandments for Lager Christmas in the future. Submit them if you have some at home. Throw them in some comments somewhere. What do you do to celebrate Oktoberfest? What should we always do? We don't have hats on or lederhosen, but that's okay. Maybe Lager Christmas is different. Maybe you pick your favorite TV show and binge watch it while drinking fest beers, or I don't know. Tell us what you're doing though this year. If you're hanging at home, if you're going to a local Oktoberfest celebration like the one in Wilson, North Carolina, that Casita is putting on, share it with us, because it's an awesome holiday, amazing tradition, great beers, however you celebrate it, we want to know. So tell us.
Yeah, it's a good idea. We can make up holidays. It's 2021. The world needs more of them. Let's make drinking socially, Lager Christmas, Oktoberfest, Festivus-esque.
That's it. That's short enough to fit on a banner. So a big banner. But
back when you're like visiting your grandma and you're flipping through the paper calendar and you can see all your cousin's birthday, and then it's
a long,
just scribbled throughout the whole date.
Yeah, it could be 2 weeks. We have a total 2-week chunk to fit the name of this Lager Christmas Fest in. I think we're good. But we want to hear from you guys. John and I will sit here for hours thinking of goofy, impossible ideas. I feel like there are more practical people out there that are yelling at their phone or their car or their screen right now going, I have the perfect idea. So just type it. Don't yell like we can't hear you. But if you type it in a comment, that works.
I'm excited to see these. And I'm also kind of excited to talk about some of the beers that are unlocking this badge. But before we get to it, Harrison, what are some other good Oktoberfest beers we should be on the lookout before this holiday is already gone and we're worried about what is it, Thanksgiving or Christmas, those boring ones to follow?
I know, right? The non-lager specific holidays to come that we have to endure. We'll try to make a more lager focus for you on the year of the lager here. We have some tentative plans for some of those holidays and incorporating lagers into them. But for now, this one, there's plenty to go around. And actually, Hop Culture just wrote a great article called The Top 13 Oktoberfest Beers of 2021. And you can listen to our episode, season 2, episode 8, to learn about the history of Oktoberfest, or read this article that Grace, the managing editor of Hop Culture, wrote. It's awesome. And actually, there's some old friends of ours, beer friends in here. They enjoy Copper Legend. She puts that on the list from Jack's Abbey that both of us were like, this is the bomb. This is amazing. It was the first time we both had it in that earlier Drinking Socially episode, enjoying Oktoberfest. That's an impressive one. Paulaner's Oktoberfest beer. So again, the canned one, the fest beer, that makes the list. But there are a lot of course, great breweries in Germany, the U.S., all over the world making killer Oktoberfest. So take a look at that article. The link will be in the notes for this show, so you can learn more about it there. Or again, if you want to listen to it, cool. Episode 8, season 2. And in season 3, we actually split it up, and it falls over 2 episodes with Spaten's Oktoberfest and Bell's Oktoberfest in episode 20 and 21 of season 3. So a couple different ways to listen, learn more, whether it's with us or through Hop Culture. Lots of cool things to learn and explore on the Oktoberfest beer front. So check it out.
And when you're done checking it out, or even before, don't leave yet.
Right.
But if you want to have some real inside information, right? Untappd is a worldwide beer drinking community that has a smartphone app. There's probably other ways you could consolidate that quicker. But with this badge being brand new, I'm excited to maybe give a more prolific update after the season, or Oktoberfest beer is a burpee beer. A better update next year. Maybe if we do this again, I know we'll do an Oktoberfest again. But anyways, right now, where we are early on in this badge's lifespan, Harrison was able to dig up and determine which breweries are helping people unlock this year's special Oktoberfest badge the most.
True. Yeah. And we found some things that are not surprising. I mean, obviously, it's going to be coming from one of those 6, has to be one of these 6 original Munich breweries, but it can be any beer from them. So if you come across I mean, now, Spaten has merged with Löwenbräu and Franziskaner. So one of John's Mount Beermore beers, Franziskaner's Hef could unlock this for you. Yeah, exactly. So again, we're trying to spread the love and, not limit it just Oktoberfest beers, really celebrate all the killer beers these amazing breweries have made. But at the top of the list, not surprisingly, is an Oktoberfest from Hofbräu. So Hofbrau's Oktoberfest, it's about 1,000 unlocks as of recording, about 12,000 total these, although I bet you that number will double at least before this badge runs out. After that is Paulaner's Hefeweizen, great, and then Paulaner's Oktoberfest beer, so not the one we're drinking, but the one in the can if you're in the States. Then Spaten's Oktoberfest, and then our beer from this evening comes in, I think, at number 4 or 5 there, rather, the Marzen from Paulaner. And then Hacker-Pschorr, and Spaten's Helles Lager's on here. So is Paulaner's kind of premium or their Helles Lager. So again, not surprising. Obviously becoming one of those 6 breweries, but cool to see that as of now, Hofbräu is taking the cake. But that may change. So yeah, we'll check in, follow along with us online. Maybe we'll tweet out about it or something as we get new updates. Because I'm going to be checking in on this badge a lot. I think it's only been, as of recording this, out for not even 2 weekends. So I imagine lots of Oktoberfests are going to be cracked in the next coming days. And this may totally change. And maybe we'll influence some people to go out and grab some Pauliners. I'll take the top spots. Who knows?
The Pauliners is good.
I know, it's very good.
It seems because I'm drinking both of them, it makes me sad that I can't level it up or unlock it with the Casita one as well. But as soon as I say that, I'm like, that's not the intention, John. The intention is to kind of replace going to Oktoberfest virtually. And I think this is a really cool thing that Untappd did. Just drink a beer from one of the breweries that would have been there. And it's close, a heck of a lot cheaper than going to Oktoberfest. And I wager if I was there in real life, I would probably take photos, but I would save all my check-ins until I was in like the hangover tent or something. I feel like it'd be too busy.
Right. It's a liter. You got hopefully 2 liters of beer in your hand, and that's all you got, or a pretzel in a liter, whatever. You're going to be busy.
Carry around an Alexa with you to check in while you're drinking.
Yelling at Siri to check in for you. Exactly right. But to your point, I mean, Untappd also has an Oktoberfest core badge. So both these beers, if you've never had either of them, will go towards that. So you could luck out and get like 4 badges. If it's your first time drinking Paulaner's Marzen Oktoberfest, that's the Drinking Socially badge, but it's also this year's Oktoberfest badge. And maybe you're one away from lovely enough to eat the core Oktoberfest badge. Sweet. And then also, if you do it, or if you did it this past weekend, rather, so now we have to time travel a little bit, we are doing that cool American Stein Holding Association badge, where all you do is take a picture of the beer you're drinking, and you unlock it. So there's a lot of things happening right now in badge land. Drink a beer, take a pic. Again, that already happened this past weekend, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But yeah, lots of badges, lots of beers, lots of lagers. John and I are happy, just floating along in Lagerland.
Speaking of floating along in Lagerland, that should be part of Lager Christmas holiday celebrations, where you have to do it in a lazy river once every 5 years. But right now, well, we're not in a lazy river, and our cell phones are safe if they're not IP68 anyways. But let's check in live. Usually we talk about, how far along are you on this badge? We're not featuring the core Oktoberfest badge. We're featuring the special one. And I haven't unlocked it yet. Harrison, have you?
Nope, I haven't. So I think we should do it right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to talk to you, so I have time to type in, take a photo.
That's right. Take a photo, write some notes, take a pic. Ta-da! Ooh, I love it.
She's working. She's beautiful. Yes.
Looking good.
Nice blurry photos on YouTube. Love it.
Exactly. John's is the 1990 version of it. Mine is the slightly newer. Yeah, I love it. That's a great looking badge. I only nabbed the one, but that's because obviously this isn't on the Drinking Socially badge yet. And I've had it before. So again, maybe you get a 7 badger, the photogenic brew, and the Untappd at home badge. Who knows? Lots of things could happen with all the bad is out there right now. So take advantage.
I did update my 99 bottles, and also a bit of like a secret badge. I unlocked the check in the dark badge. If you make any beer check in while your Untappd is in dark mode. So there's we won't do a badge an episode on that one because I just ruined the fun. But if you haven't tried dark mode yet, there's a freebie.
There is a freebie. That's pretty
would
cool.
You rather, Harrison? Would you rather? No, I don't think we have time for a would you rather on Oktoberfest. Plus, the answer is yes. I'd rather go to Oktoberfest in Munich.
Yeah, I know. It's tough to do a would you rather with this.
Yeah, right. Would you rather? Nope. Go to Oktoberfest. But do we have time maybe to do a quick bet as we drink a German and an American Marzen together?
Ooh, yeah. I'm always down to gamble, John. You know me. Can't say no. So, almost like it's an addiction.
Not at all. No, you're fine. You don't have to pay me back right away. We probably should have the gambling addiction number. Do you know it off the top of your head, or no? So the bet for this one pretty easy. What I think, because Casida's they built this beer for their own Oktoberfest. It's about to kick off next week. I think Casida's Marzen is going to catch up to Paulaner's Marzen by the time we sit down to record our next episode.
Ridiculous. I mean, check-ins this month, I guess, is what you're saying?
From where we are right now, I'll take note of it on a Post-it note, and then when we sit down to record the next episode, we'll just double check, and I think Casida's going to be rising like a shining star faster than Paulaner. There's no Oktoberfest in Munich. Casida's having their own.
That's what I was going to say That's what I was going to say. And well, first I would say you're crazy. And then I was like, wait, there is no Oktoberfest, but Casida's having one. I'm still going to sit with Paulaner, though. This beer's everywhere. I think I'll take that bet. You're on, John.
Okay. That's perfect. That's how bets work. And since you're so confident in this German brewer owning the beer style for another 100 years, I say we make it a little more interesting. We put our mortgage I say the loser shows up for the next episode. No one will care if you only listen to the show, but if you watch on YouTube, the loser shows up dressed up in a costume. And I can't wait to see you come in dressed up like the mayor of Munich for the next show. Yeah.
All right, fine. You're on, John. I'm sure you'll make a wonderful hot dog or something, some kind of hot dog shaped thing. I'll see what I can find. You guys have to tune in next week though to see what actually we can uncover in the bargain bin of some Halloween shop. We'll see though. You're on, John. Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it. All right.
Official bet. That's part of Lager Christmas too, making a bet with a friend.
Yes, making a bet with a friend. I love it. That's a good that involves a costume, maybe. See, it's starting to happen. It's happening. This is amazing. All right, cool. So speaking of other amazing things, I want to zoom in on Munich a little bit more now, but in maybe an unexpected way for this Oktoberfest focused podcast, and talk about our verified venue highlight of the week. And it's going to be a place in Munich called Hopdog.
Nice.
Hopdog. Nothing is lost in translation here. This is a hot dog bar that has tons of beer. So just as you would expect from a name like Hopdog. And really what jumped out to me was they have a hilarious website. They're kind of poking fun at people and taking things too seriously. Just come in, have a great hot dog. Chili's good, but it's better on a hot dog. Like lots of, fun dad jokes, I guess. And they have a lot of new craft beer being made by some of the really interesting craft brewers in Europe and actually more specifically around Munich, but then also some of the classics too. So it's kind of this old and new world mixed together, about 15 different taps, a lot of breweries I'd never even heard of. And it kind of opened me up to this really cool thing that's happening where you have a lot of, so obviously craft breweries all over the place, but Germany has this amazing tradition of brewing classic German lagers, and there's this kind of subset in Germany of new craft breweries that are brewing classic German lagers and craft beers. So I thought that was really cool to be actually in the country that created lager, but kind of doing it as a craft brewery. So that was kind of wild to be down the street from Paulaner and Hofbrau, but be also making a fest beer of some kind and be standing in the shadows of those giants, while at the same time brewing up IPAs and stuff. So they're celebrating that, but I can only imagine how unique that would be to be there all the time. And great, enjoying hot dogs. I mean, that's an easy win for me. And they're kind of in a cool part of town, John, we were reading about that stood out to me and had a great name.
Yeah, located in Munich, but in an area that's known as the Bermuda Triangle, which
Love
is,
it.
I mean, I want a T-shirt and I want to visit.
Right.
The Bermuda Triangle, come on, in Munich, kind of outlines Munich's like the epicenter of beer for the city. You'll find, I think Paulaner is in that area if you want to visit them. There's some other verified venues like Frisch's and Tillman's. And a lot of, I mean, if you're an Untappd user and you're in or visiting Munich, it's very likely that you have to go to the Bermuda Triangle, but definitely make Hopdog your first stop. I was just checking out their menu on Untappd, and they have a beer from a brewery called Hopsylvania that is a home brewing art project. Because you're allowed to do that in Germany, not here in America with all of our rules. But anyway, really cool beer menu at Hopdog. And it's even if you're not in Germany and you just want to make yourself jealous, go on Untappd and check out their beer menu and save it for when you visit.
That's right. And they make their own beer too. It's a collaboration with Black Brute, which is another brewery there called Hop Monkey. So Hop Dogs, Hop Monkey.
It's like a beautiful zoo.
It's a West Coast IPA, right? A crazy zoo of hot dogs and hop monkeys and all that stuff. But it's a West Coast IPA with all the B hops like Centennial and Cascade and Columbus. So that was something American brewers used to do all the time, was just put all the C hops into your IPA. It was kind of a fail safe or a foolproof IPA recipe. Cool as heck to see that happening right literally down the street from Paulaner. So again, wild stuff. Definitely wanted to highlight them today. So keep doing it, Hopdog. Keep being yourself. Keep hopdogging it up, as no one says.
Maybe they'll open a second location called the Footlong. I guess it would be like the decimeter long, or
meter, the half, quarter meter.
Don't metric.
I don't know what anything is, right?
1 gram is 1 ounce. Next.
Like someone's broken you over the coals there, John. But anyway, check it out if you haven't tapped. If you ever or you've been there, let us know what it's like. It looks cool.
And speaking of looking cool, I want to ask you a question, and it's going to require your memory to work. And I'm doing okay. I'm going kind of slow. I got like 2 sips left here in each of these. But if you go back over maybe the last 6-7 days in your mind, do you remember drinking a beer that's good enough for you to call it the best beer of the week?
So I do. I wanted to shout it out. I needed to shout it out. This year's Oktoberfest from Sierra Nevada. So we've done their Oktoberfest in the past on the podcast. They're always really good. They were for a long time doing collaborations. They kind of pick a brewery in Germany to do a Oktoberfest with, which was so cool. Sometimes even borrowing their house yeast for it, which in some cases is 200 or 300 years old. Wow. So really amazing stuff. Last year they did a fest beer Oktoberfest, so again lighter, poppier, and it was fine. But this year they returned to like the sweeter, toasty, biscuity, amber lager that is the Marzen. It's amazing. I've already worked through the first 6-pack I grabbed, and I need to grab a 12-pack of it before Celebration, their fresh hop IPA, which they are brewing. I saw them post about that, so it boots it off the shelf. It's only a matter of time before that lovely beer comes back, and I'm excited for it. But I could drink that Oktoberfest through the end of the year, but I need to buy it now to do that. So I'm going to note to self and all of you listening and watching, help me remember next time at the store, have a pack of Sierra Nevadas Oktoberfest. But that was an easy one for me. What about you, John? What's getting you excited?
The beer I think that I want to hold on to comes from a North Carolina brewery called Barrel Culture. I've loved them a few times in the past. It's called Summer Crushed, and it's okay. So it's really hot in Eastern North Carolina. I know we're getting into October, but where I live, it's ridiculous outside. So we finally caught a little break. I was outside. I was drinking this beer from Barrel Culture, and it was amazing. It's a Munich style Helles mixed with grapefruit soda. So it's a canned radler, which I think also makes it kind of Oktoberfest adjacent, right? If Oktoberfest was held on bicycles, I could probably write it.
What's the inverse of Oktoberfest, right? Like a spring fling, and then radler would be right there. I see what I picked up what you're putting down, John.
It was good. I put it down and I wanted another one. And it was like maybe a goodbye to summer. We don't have to say that right now.
We don't. We've got months of it left.
As we near the end of the show, Harrison, I want to put you on the spot. You've got a authentic German Marzen and a brand new baby North Carolina Marzen with a little bit left of each. Which one would you want to have a second of right now?
Ooh, I'll tell you what. This is the Casitas is opening up nicely. Man. A second one of. Oh, well, I have a 6-pack or a 4-pack and 6-pack of both. I don't need to choose, but John, I guess I'll go. Man, it's tough. I guess I'll just let the beer speak. Well, that doesn't count because I started the Paulaner first, and there's less Paulaner. I'll pick. I don't want to. I'm going to help myself out with our bet and say the Paulaner one, so more people will go to Paulaner. I'm a genius. It took me a minute to get there. I see what you're doing, John. Trying to use my popularity against me. The influential Harrison choice.
Everyone said Harrison said Paulaner. Well, if I lose next week, I'm going to blame it on you.
That's right.
I kept going back and forth myself. I was like, in the beginning, the Casita, clear winner for me. And then I flipped over to Paulaner about the middle of the show. And now I find myself being more drawn to Casita. It's such a great problem to have. It's like being in a buffet with all good food.
Right, exactly. And the salad just sitting there and no one's touching the salad, but the cornbread basket is always empty. Yep. I've been at that buffet.
We've been to the same buffet. Yeah.
Delicious.
So with that, Oktoberfest, or as we're trying to rebrand it, Lager Christmas, one of the best times of the year. It's like Thanksgiving and a wedding celebration and a citywide, or now thanks to Untappd, a worldwide beer event. We're already sad that it's going to be another 51 weeks before we get to do this again. But if you follow Untappd on Twitter, Instagram, or even YouTube now, it'll make those 51 weeks go by relatively quicker. I can't make any sort of time travel promises, but we can get a glimpse into the future by asking Harrison what's coming up next week.
Right. I need my Johnny Carson envelope to the head. Great Sarnak, whatever. It's pumpkin time, people. Pumpkin! We're talking about pumpkin beer as we are, but with a twist that would make Friar Tuck go, "You brewed a what?" We're going to find out.
Until then, Prost!
Prost! Just turn up the Hasselhoff.